present it in a fun way. And there are times listeners can send us a message and that becomes the whole show. So a couple of days ago, somebody complained about this on time. That became like a whole program. The idea is that the people listening to you must be given value. So you must not think of your own comfort. You must work fast, you must be nimble, you must have a strong research team behind you. And keep people wanting more. There's music as well, and there's some hard-hitting interviews. Radio reflects the lifestyle of Ghanaians, and we're going through a transition as a country. Our democracy is going well. There are lots of issues that still need to be addressed, and we still have to enjoy ourselves. So we're trying to put all that together into a 3.5-hour show. It's not very easy, but trust me, it's exciting. It's really, really fun. Myself, Richard Sky, Kojo Akoto Boateng, and Namadi Manasante being the core of that team with a strong production base. That's what we try and do on Citi Breakfast Show.
It's 17:30 GMT live from Adabraka in Accra. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM with Umaru Sanda Amadu. And I'm here with
Eugenia Tenkran.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
It's been 505 days. We've spent $217 million on this project. Supposed to have 612 bed capacity super tertiary hospital, what they call a quaternary hospital. So it's in essence higher than Kolebu and Kompanochi Teaching Hospital when it comes to the function.
Citi Breakfast Show's Kojo Akoto Boateng explaining exactly what the University of Ghana Medical Center is about, because today police in Kolebu arrested a sole campaigner demanding the opening of that facility, which has now become a white elephant, during an address by First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo. We'll be hearing more on exactly what happened. Also coming up on Eyewitness News, the Musa Superior-led Tamale Metropolitan Assembly, which is imposing a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on children in the northern regional capital.
It's amazing and totally unacceptable to find young children between the ages of, say, 6 to about 15 roaming the streets of Tamale unsupervised.
We'll be hearing more on the reasoning behind this particular decision. And later on Eyewitness News,
the Supreme Court of this land have already interpreted that the cards issued by the Electoral Commission are valid cards for determination of a citizenship.
Opposition NDC kicks against National Identification Authority's plans to rely only on passports and the birth certificates of citizens in registering them for the Ghana card. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on these and many more stories on Eyewitness News and in business.
Former head of banking supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amanfu, denies Iyoko's invitation over investigations into the collapsed UT and Capital banks. Also, GNPC signs 12-year agreement with Rosneft for the supply of natural gas to Ghana.
Payosemi Hieduko returns in 50 minutes with details of the top stories in business. Eyewitness News is live across the country, a number of affiliates, and across the globe on citinewsroom.com. The show is also live with support from the social media team of 97.3 Citi FM on Facebook Live. Indeed, the show is live around the globe on citinewsroom.com. You can join the conversation on WhatsApp 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You can follow me on Twitter. The handle is at Umaru Sanda and at Citi973. You can also tweet at Eugenia via at Eugenia Tinkran with the hashtag Citi Newsroom in sending your views across. So let's settle for details of our first story. And it happened at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital earlier today. Eugenia, give us a background.
So a sole hashtag Open UGMC Now campaigner Reginald Sechi Brown has been detained by the Kolebu Hospital Police for displaying a campaign placard at the First Lady's sword curtain ceremony. The campaigner, who is a final year pharmacy student of the University of Ghana, started a social media campaign some 2 weeks ago demanding the immediate operationalization of the abandoned $217 million facility. He went to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital today where the First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo was cutting the sword for the construction of a pediatric intensive care unit. He reportedly advanced towards the First Lady with his placard while she was delivering her speech, but her security detail immediately carried him off to the police station.
So this happened at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, we are told, where the First Lady had gone for an official ceremony. Citi News' and Shirley Anyonam Ziwu was the lady who covered that particular press, and she's joined me in studio. You're welcome to Eyewitness News. Anyonam, so what did you see?
Okay, so early this morning, we went to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital to cut sort for a pediatric intensive care unit by the Rebecca Foundation.
Okay.
So while the First Lady was giving her speech on the podium, this young guy came up with a placard, Open UGCM Now, walking towards her on the podium. Then some of the officials on the high seat indicated or told the policemen to, address the issue. So they just came and then pushed the guy aside. They took him to the back. There was a little bit of a back and forth, but after that was all. We didn't really see any arrest, any handcuff on the guy's hands.
So the instruction for the police to take action was not from the First Lady. It was from persons behind her who were on the high table.
Yes, she just continued reading her speech.
Did you get a sense that the First Lady saw this gentleman when he approached?
Yes, she did. She did see him, but she didn't really give attention to him.
Okay, did she say anything at all about that particular issue?
No, she said nothing.
Did she talk about the University of Ghana Medical Center?
No, she didn't say that.
So she concentrated on her speech?
Yes, that's what she did.
Now, this gentleman, do you know him?
No, I don't, but I heard he is leading a protest for the opening of the university hospital, the
University of Ghana Medical Center.
Yes, the medical center.
Prior to the First Lady coming to give the address, did you see him?
No, I didn't.
So you don't know whether he was there as a journalist or just as
he wasn't there as a journalist because the CEO of Kolebu gave his speech. No one came up, but right when the First Lady came on the podium to give her speech, that was when the guy popped up with the placard.
Can you describe this gentleman for us, if you recall how he was?
He's very tall and slim. He was in a suit. Yes, that's how I can describe him.
And Eugenia, we have his name, don't we?
Yes, he is Reginald Citi Brown.
Okay, so he carried he had a placard, or
yes, holding it very high above his head.
Did he attempt to get close to the First Lady?
He really got close to the First Lady.
Did he physically try to maybe touch
there was no physical touch.
Did he utter a word?
No, he didn't utter any word.
Okay, so he just stood there and then raised his placard, which said Open UGMC.
Right.
I see.
Right.
Thank you very much. And Shirley Ziwu Anyonam, she's a reporter here at Citi News. She was covering that particular event, the public event by the First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo. I understand the opening of, or the cutting of the sword, or the breaking of ground for that pediatric center at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Why is the University of Ghana Medical Center so important to have attracted this particular protest targeted at the First Lady of the Republic? Kojo Akoto-Boateng is one of the panelists or the regular hosts of the Citi Breakfast Show, co-host of the Citi Breakfast Show. Now, the Citi Breakfast Show has been on a campaign to have the University of Ghana Medical Center reopened, or not even reopened, put to use, because it was commissioned by John Dramani Mahama earlier, we understand, and it's still not been put to use. Kojo Akoto-Boateng has joined me on the line now. Kojo, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. How significant is this facility, and how big a deal is it for a gentleman to have approached the First Lady today with a protest?
Well, the facility is very significant. It's a quaternary hospital, which means it's a super tertiary hospital, which we've spent about $217 million constructing. The phase 1 is done. We are waiting for phase 2. And when the whole project is completed, it's going to have about 1,000 beds. And if you look at the tertiary hospitals we have in Ghana, Kolebu has a bed capacity of about 2,000. Kompanochi Teaching Hospital has a bed capacity of about 1,000. So this facility, which is a quaternary hospital, has a bed capacity similar to that of Kompanochi, which serves the middle belt and parts of the northern sector in Ghana. So it's key when it comes to healthcare delivery. It's key also because it's going to be a teaching hospital which will train more medical professionals in various fields to ensure that we improve healthcare delivery in the country. It's also key because if you look at the financing and the money-related issues, $217 million with an additional $50 million for phase 2, that makes it $267 million. Is about $1 billion Ghana cedis. That's a lot of money, about the budget of about 3-4 ministries. It's also key because it's part of a group of 16 hospitals which are either completed or should have been completed but have not seen completion, which is costing the Republic of Ghana $1 billion. It's key because if it's in operation, it can cover a population of about 250,000 people from our own estimation. So if you look at all these figures and the things that the hospital can do and the opportunities it has for us, is key. Now, the conversation is key because the hospital was completed sometime in 2016. It was inaugurated in January 2017, and 506 days on, the hospital is not operating because of a series of reasons that have been given to us by various officials in government. It's key. The conversation is key because the Chief of Staff set up a committee, and the committee has since submitted a report and given recommendations as to what to do. And since February that this committee submitted a report, we have not been told what exactly we are going to do with the hospital, and we've not been given a timeline as to when we are going to operationalize this. It's key because it has the capacity to employ between 3,000 to 4,000 people. So when it comes to creating jobs, it is there. When it comes to saving lives, it plays a role. When it comes to advancing medical research, it plays a role. And when it comes to our national finances, it plays a role because as we speak now, it is attracting costs that you and I, the taxpayer, are going to pay because certain things are running, electricity costs are running, and we need to pay attention to it and get it running.
So the place has been lit up, you mean, when you say electricity costs are running?
Yes, so some of the equipment have been fixed, and because we need to keep them within a certain temperature range so that they don't have any malfunctions later, we need to keep the coolers on. Most of the time, we need to keep the coolers in the facility on, especially in the imaging sections and the labs, to keep these equipment and the theater, to keep the equipment in a certain temperature range. Now, it's supposed to have 12 theaters. 9 have been fixed, fully fixed, ultra-modern theaters with all the world-class equipment. So, as it stands now, the hospital electricity is running because we need electricity to power the coolers, to cool some of the chambers and some of the compartments within the hospital. And that is cost that we are bearing as a country, even though we are not taking any advantage of that particular cost that we are paying.
I see. Now, let's talk about the facility itself and the demands for it to be open. I know at the Citi CBS level, there's been a campaign for the facility to be reopened. And of course, this gentleman, again, Reginald Citi Brown, we are told today, was protesting same, and that had led to him being arrested and detained by the police. Do we know who else is championing for the UGMC to be reopened or to be opened? Not even reopened, opened.
We've seen stories by some other media houses about the UGMC, but there's not been any clear campaign to get the UGMC open generally. What has happened is that over the past few months, people have been talking about it. We created a hashtag Open UGMC Now, and students and activists from the University of Ghana, including the gentleman Reginald, have also been very vociferous about this. They've been talking about it, and there's a change.org petition which is running now. The last time I checked was yesterday, and about 800 people have signed that particular petition, which is to put pressure on the government to pay attention to this hospital and operationalize it.
Very well. Thank you very much, Kojo Akoto Boatin. And indeed, I believe you will be continuing with this campaign on the CBS despite what we saw today at Korle Bu, no?
Yes, we need to save lives. We need to research into new medical areas. Look, if you look at the Ghana Health Service annual report, there are new diseases killing us, new lifestyle diseases, and we need facilities that can actually help us research more into these and also to save lives. If you go to a facility like the 37 Military Hospital, which is a UN Level 4 medical facility, one of the highest rated hospitals, there are certain basic services you cannot get. You go to Korle Bu, and they're also struggling. Confanochi, the Tamale Teaching Hospital, the various hospitals around them. So if you indeed spend about 1 billion Ghana cedis in this facility, we must as well get it running so that we can use whatever opportunities it has for our health service sector to bring some gains to the 30 million people in Ghana, and also the millions of people around West Africa who can also take advantage of this facility, because it's the first of its kind in West Africa, the only one of its kind in West Africa. So for medical tourism and advanced medical care, so the Vice President went to the UK recently for medical care. Buhari recently went to the UK for medical care. We know people will go to other countries for medical care. This is actually an opportunity for us to also make some more money from people who require advanced medical care in the Western world and in other countries.
Thank you very much. Kojo Akoto Boatin, co-host of the Citi Breakfast Show and head of research here at 97.3 Citi FM. Let me just say that the gentleman at the center of this particular case, he was arrested or picked up today by the police at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital when he approached the First Lady to raise a placard that said "Open UGMC now." Reginald Citi Brown, his name is, and just receiving news from my production that he has been granted bail. Earlier, I saw Kobe Blay, who is a media practitioner and also a health practitioner and nurse, tweeting and saying that bail has been granted Reginald, and he has been made to sign a statement of caution and is expected to report to the police on Friday. But before all of these, Reginald spoke to journalists at the Kolebu police detention area, I believe. Listen to him.
If we have such a bad healthcare system, now the only way to effect a change in the system is to call on the government to be able to make the various healthcare facilities operational. So that's the main reason why I came here with a placard with the inscription, hashtag Open University of Ghana Medical Center now. Now the reason why I came here was as a result of the fact that I know that the First Lady, who is the better half of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, she can get the direct message to him. And she has, one thing we haven't observed is that there has been a pattern in whatever she's doing as a foundation. Now, she was in a confinement. She has done several things with regards to the healthcare system. That should tell Ghanaians something, that she has identified problems and she's solving them correctly, even though she's not telling us that, okay, these are the issues.
So that's Reginald Citi Brown. Apologies for the poor quality of that particular soundbite, but he was speaking to journalists, explaining exactly why he was there and why he raised the placard that he raised in the presence of the First Lady at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital earlier today. And like I said in the beginning of the show, he was raising that placard to raise the concern or to bring the attention of the First Lady to the fact that that facility is still locked after having been completed. Richard Daku is the press secretary to the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo. He's joined me on the line. You're welcome, sir, to Eyewitness News. So is it the case that officials around the First Lady are not happy that her attention is being drawn to a facility that is rotting away?
That's a direct question. I think what I would say is that the officials of the First Lady did not arrest Reginald. That's what I have to put it after. They didn't arrest Reginald. It was the Kolebu police station that picked him up, because I think they felt he had come too close to the First Lady, and he had all the chance to meet his case until when he waited for the First Lady to be in the middle of the speech to show that placard.
Is it not a regular thing that happens, Richard, where people raise placards to leaders to express concerns over issues?
What I would say is that the distance that he came, I think for all of us, the First Lady, the First Lady of Ghana, and security-wise, for me, and you would understand the security thing so much, but they think it wasn't fair for him to come to that extent. So they wanted to question him and ask him what was his purpose and all those things. So I'm sure the police didn't mean anything, but they wanted to find out why he came there. And those are the normal things that you have to do, because you as a program that someone come close to the First Lady holding the placard is something else. If he had all the distance, because he was standing at a very far and nobody went to him. When he started moving straight to the front, that's when they stopped him and he needed to go back because he can't count it. That was it.
The video I watched, Richard, he approached the podium and stood a few feet away from the First Lady. For you, how close is too close?
There's a perimeter that you don't go close. when the first lady or the president was giving a speech. So I guess he bypassed that perimeter.
For purposes of education to any campaigner or protester in the future, can you share with me how close is too close or how far is too far from the First Lady? So in the future, if someone wanted to show a placard, how far away from the First Lady should they be?
I would say, I can't give the meters, but I know you are, when they are giving a speech, you see there's, I think you come for program, so you understand me. You see the security guards, they do a barricade. Where the standard barricade, they don't let anybody come close to that side. Even the media men have a chance that when they're being facing the First Lady or facing any other speaker, there's a distance between them and the speaker.
I see, but how then did the security gate get breached for him to have gotten so close to the First Lady, if you indeed believe that there was a barricade that ought not to be crossed?
No, I think he was walking because he was standing there. I think he started walking for that, so the rest of the he shouldn't go. He just stand where he wants to stand. He didn't come close to where the First Lady was.
Has it been discovered that he was having any weapons on him?
No, I don't think so. I just
okay, Richard, does the First Lady find a placard as a threat?
Oh, no. She doesn't find anything wrong with it. She doesn't find, even when he's spoken to the police and all those things, that they just let him go, because I think he's just trying to help out with this campaign of opening the University of Ghana Medical Center. And I think he has his rights and all those things. So the First Lady, she's not too much worried about that. She's all open house for people who, everybody has a right to go to every campaign that they want to do. And she has nothing against it.
Did the First Lady make any comment about the arrest subsequent to the events of this afternoon? Because we are told that she didn't stop in the course of her speech when the gentleman was being whisked away.
She continued reading her speech.
Great. And I'm asking if she made any statement subsequent to the arrest.
Oh, no. What we've done with the police, that I think they said he needed to write a statement and write a caution statement. And I think I've spoken to his guys from the police station, and I'm sure they have been released, because I spoke to the crime officer, and I think they said they had written the statement and everything, and they are leaving. They just released.
Is the First Lady interested in this case any further?
No. We're not interested in it. We're not interested in it. He's a young man, just like all of us here, and he has his rights and other things, so we're not interested in it.
But now that the case has been raised publicly, what would the First Lady be doing personally to have the UGMC opened?
That one, I'll have to discuss with her.
Okay.
But for me, I think we'll leave that to the Ministry of Health to handle it, because the First Lady is the Ministry of Health to handle it.
Thank you very much, Richard Dakun. He's press secretary to the First Lady of the Republic, spouse of President Adonanko Akufo-Addo. That's Rebecca Akufo-Addo. Let me go on the other phone line quickly and speak to DSP Efia Tenge. Now, she speaks for the Accra Regional Police Command. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, madam. So, what led to the arrest of the gentleman, Reginald, earlier today at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital?
Yes, good evening. And thank you for having me. Yes, and this morning there was a sword cutting ceremony that was ongoing at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And just when the First Lady of the Republic was about to deliver her speech, there was this gentleman with a placard who just emerged from nowhere and was walking towards the day or the direction of the First Lady. So quickly, the police officers who were then on duty had to whisk him away and hand him over to the nearest police station. And it was after this point that we had to investigate who he was, why he was there to do what he did, and to see if there is any ulterior motive to his actions. And that was why he was being investigated.
I see. And what has police found so far?
Oh, we know he's a final year student of the University of Ghana. And he, with him, a placard that had on it, open UGMC now, and that He also had with him a bag, and there were other electrical devices in it. Or let me say phones and iPads and what have you. But that is still not enough. We are still investigating him properly to find out the intent for what he did. But as I speak to you now, after the preliminary investigation on him, it was just about some few minutes that I was told that he has been granted bail to report later for police to continue with the investigation based on our direction of how our investigation.
Did you find that he had weapons on him or any items on him that could have potentially caused harm to the First Lady?
We don't need to see a person physically possessing a weapon before we can frisk him away. This was a gentleman with a placard. As to whether it was just a mere placard, that was for us to investigate further. He also had with him a bag. What was contained in the bag is something that we do not know of. So if such a person is walking directly towards the First Lady of the Republic and the police refuses to act and the unfortunate happens, how are we going to save the police? So to me, I think the police on the ground exhibited high professionalism, and also for them to be able to indicate that the proactive security measures that we are using is very active and is very strong.
I believe
so that is why he was frisked away, for us to do a further investigation on him, to be able to also satisfy ourselves that he wasn't there for any other reason, but for whatever reason, that is what we are yet to establish.
I believe that as part of your professionalism, you also have preemptive measures that you take as police. And indeed, before the First Lady goes to an event, you as police may have swept that particular area and ensured that there was no one who is there with a motive to cause harm to the First Lady. Now, how did a gentleman carrying a placard bigger than an A4 sheet slip past your barricade, got so close to the First Lady, if you are indeed being professionals and protecting the First Lady?
Yes, this is a member of the audience. How he came there, the intent in him, or whatever he had is not known. We don't know what he intends to do. And you can't tell me that everybody there, the police will be able to know and know why they are there. There are certain things that can be prevented. And that is exactly what the police has done. We don't have to wait to see him cause whatever he intends to do before we begin to react. The police acted surely, and we ensure that the security arrangements that were put in place were not compromised.
But you agree with me, madam, that if this gentleman were wielding a weapon or intended to attack the First Lady, perhaps shoot at her or anything, the moments that he had, the opportunity he had, the good aim that he had, having come so close to the First Lady with a placard, he would have actually executed whatever he intended to do, and that would have been a failure on the part of the police.
And that did not happen. That is why I'm saying that this shows that our security arrangement on the ground was very accurate.
Could it not be that you were
from occurring?
Could it not be that you were just saved by the fact that this gentleman was a harmless man? Because if he intended to throw a shoe at the First Lady, he would have succeeded in doing that. Watching the video, he had so many seconds to walk straight to the First Lady and pull out a placard which he raised to show, which means that he intended no harm, and the police could have let him continue to campaign on a peaceful process. No?
No. If you want to campaign, I don't think that the forum there was the right forum for you to campaign. If you want to campaign, I believe that there are processes within which you need to act within certain laws or confines where you know you need to be able to go through before you be able to campaign or demonstrate of a sort. But for a program that was not intended for this, you come and exhibit these kind of behaviors. The police have acted risking away. and still it is not understood why the police did what they did. I believe that the police have done what we were supposed to do to be able to save all of us.
Where do you think would have been the appropriate forum for him to have raised a placard to draw the attention of the First Lady to an unopened facility funded by the state?
Please, this is not something I should have. We all know the Public Order Act. If you want to embark on a demonstration or anything of the sort, what does the law say about that? What are the procedures that you need to follow? If you follow the Public Order Act, Act 491, I believe that the expectations or what we need to go through before we embark on such campaigns are there. Where the occasion was taking place was inappropriate for any act. And for to also say, I or the police is not interested in what was on the placard. What we are doing is to protect the First Lady and also every individual that was there for that particular function and nothing else. So please let us not begin to read meanings into it. All we were nurturing to do or we wanted to do was to ensure the safety of people or well-meaning Ghanaians who had gathered there for a very good ceremony and nothing else.
All right, so what are going to be the charges that will be pressing against him, if there will be charges at all?
Yes, I am not quick in coming out with charges. Usually when somebody commits an offense of this nature, even in the course of our investigation, several charges may come up. And based on what we are doing, because we have to even go back to the scene, do a reconstruction of the whole thing, search him and all that. So after everything, if there are reasons to believe that had other intention apart from what we all see or saw from the camera, then I believe that the police can hold him for one or two offenses or charges. But for now, I am not quickly coming out with. We can hold him for offensive conduct based if we are able to gather whatever we are able to establish the intent and all that, act tending and what have you. So I am not quick at coming out with the charges that this is this and all that. But until then, I am saying that it is to ensure the safety of
the press secretary to the press secretary to the press secretary to the First Lady said they were not interested in this case. Would the police still proceed despite having heard that assurance from the First Lady?
That hasn't come to my attention. I don't know anything about that. What I am looking at somebody committing an offense within the eyes of the law.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. DSP Ifya Tenges, Accra Regional Police Command PRO. Let me conclude the set of interviews with Sylvester Amwaku. He's SRC president of the University of Ghana. I understand I have lost him momentarily there. Let me try and have him back on the phone line. In the interim, though, let me read for you some tweets that are coming in reactions to the arrest of the gentleman who was protesting. Reginald Citi Brown is his name. He was protesting today by raising a placard while the First Lady was giving an address, and he has since been arrested and granted bail by the police. Michael Intribosiaku says Ghana has spent 200 million on football from 2006 to 2016. We have won no proper trophy, but here we are not finding 50 million to open University of Ghana Medical Center. His Excellency Joshua K says sound quality wasn't okay, but Omar Osanda, I heard the guy clearly. Reginald was passing a message across. Your reporter has mentioned he didn't do anything bad. Let's thank God First Lady Akufo-Addo, Rebecca Akufo-Addo is safe. Where from this bill and this? Hey, Ghana, you say. Ramadan Mubarak says, we understand your campaign to get the University of Ghana Medical Center open, but that shouldn't cloud your judgment if someone goes beyond the boundary. The gentleman started the campaign some days back. Did you see anyone arresting him? That's a question he's asking directly to me. Francis Yaogidiga Alfafa says, senior man Umar Sanda, Richard wasn't making sense at all. So we've gotten to the point where we can no longer put our grievances before the very own leaders we elect. Nei Afo says, dear Umar Sanda, please don't let the campaign end after this evening. Thank you. Using the hashtag Citi Newsroom. Let me go on the phone line now and speak to Sylvester Amwaku, who is the SRC president of the University of Ghana. You're welcome to Eyewitness News. We understand that you are the police station to lend him some support. We also understand that Brown has been granted police inquiry bail. What more have you found since you went to the police station?
Good evening, first of all. I want a good evening to all listeners and to all the good people of the University of Ghana. I've been at the station. Reginald Brown has been granted bail. He's calm. His demeanor is okay. There's not been much around him that we can say that the cause for worry. But the issue is he's supposed to report back on Friday at 9 a.m. But then he has a project work so until 2. That's when he's going to get there. Reginald has gone home currently to be with his mom for a while. You join us on campus. But the situation is calm. All those things have been settled. But Reginald is resolute and the agenda open UGMC campaign will still continue from inside.
Sylvester, is it a campaign that is endorsed by the SRC body of the University of Ghana? And how much support are you lending Reginald, if indeed you are supporting him?
We believe that we are in society where people should be able to voice out their complaints and all. It's a student faction that's rising up, and we have personally not found problems with them. We heard he was detained, and at SRC we went there to make sure that Reginald is fine and to get him out and follow up on issues as things are unfolding.
Very well, thank you. We'll keep an eye on that particular story. Thank you, Sylvester Mwaku is the SRC president of the University of Ghana. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sandamadu here with Eugenia Tinkran. When we come back, we'll take you to the northern regional capital, Tamale, where Idris Umuta Superior, the mayor there, and his assembly have decided to introduce a law which imposes a curfew on the city for children if you were found loitering after 10 p.m., you'll be detained until 6 a.m. where you'll be freed to your parents. Stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Jack, are you about to top up on your MTN number? Wait! As an MTN...
Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Every weeknight, do join me for the big stories of the day as we do the analysis, the interviews, the probing questions that will help you find closure to the top stories that bother your mind. The show is, of course, live on Facebook here on Citi FM's handle. Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Every weeknight, do join me for the big stories of the day as we do the analysis, the interviews, the probing questions that will help you find closure to the top stories that bother your mind. The show is, of course, live on Facebook here on Citi FM's handle. Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Every weeknight, do join me for the big stories of the day as we do the analysis, the interviews, the probing questions that will help you find closure to the top stories that bother your mind. The show is, of course, live on Facebook here on Citi FM's handle. Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Every weeknight, do join me for the big stories of the day as we do the analysis, the interviews, the probing questions that will help you find closure to the top stories that bother your mind.
So what we try to do on the Citi Breakfast Show is to keep a conversation flowing. So you'll typically have us do the newspaper review in a very fun, easygoing way because look, people are stressed out. They're going to work. We're serious.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sandamadu here with Eugenia Tinkran. Before we take you to Tamale, let me bring you a statement that has been issued by the Ghana Journalists Association, signed by Afeomoni, who is the president of the association, and it's titled Anas Arimia Anas needs police protection against death threats. He says it has come to the attention of the Ghana Journalists Association, GJA, that internationally acclaimed investigative journalist Anas Arimia Anas has received many death threats following his latest investigative piece on the game of football in Ghana, which is scheduled to be premiered in Accra on Wednesday, June 6 and Thursday, June 7, 2018. According to sources close to the eighth investigative journalist, apart from receiving messages containing threats of death, some unidentified persons have been tracking his office and other locations ostensibly to harm him. Several pictorial images have been posted online, television and on social media. These images, which are not the real identity of Anas, tend to put the lives of other persons at risk, and this must stop forthwith. It continues that the GJ finds these developments extremely disturbing and highly unfortunate. We therefore urge the Ghana Police Service, Bureau of National Investigations, and other security agencies to, as a matter of urgency and in the utmost national interest, provide a 24-hour protection for Anas and all his interests, including his family and properties. The security agencies should not allow aggrieved and disgruntled individuals to endanger the life of these patriotic citizens of Ghana who, at a very young age, has rendered very invaluable services to the nation. We appreciate the fact that the investigative pieces of this nature always arouse passion, emotion, anger, and even hatred. However, regardless of one's feelings, whether good or ill, under no circumstance must one deviate from the rule of law to tread on the path of impunity and engage in an assassination mission. Instead, one must resort to the law courts to seek redress to anything one finds untoward in such matters. The statement continues to say, whatever be the case, Chapter 13 of the GJA Code of Ethics fully justifies the means by which Anas conducts his investigation on the ground of national interest. The GJA wishes to remind the nation of Ghana's enviable first position on World Press Freedom Index 2018 and the enormous economic benefits it holds for the nation. This achievement was not procured on a silver platter. It was earned through our collective resolve to promote press freedom in the country as captured under Chapter 12 of the 1992 Constitution, in that same spirit of unity of purpose. And this is a statement signed by Afeomoni, who is president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Let's go to the northern regional capital, Tamale now. Eugenia, tell us that story.
The Tamale Metropolitan Assembly has imposed a 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew to curtail the movement of children in the city. This, according to the Tamale Metropolitan Chief Executive Idrisu Musa Superior, is geared toward protecting persons under 18 from the dangers of the streets. The Assembly is doing this in partnership with the non-governmental organization Needs Ghana.
You cannot have an educated, healthy, and prosperous society if you do not have a strategy to be able to build the society. And in building the society, we have to build our children. It is amazing and totally unacceptable to find young children between the ages of, say, 6 to about 15 roaming the streets of Tamale unsupervised. So on the basis of what we want to do for our society, keep our children safe, give them education, and make sure that they become responsible citizens, we think that children who roam the streets of our cities after 9 o'clock, we assume that they are in danger. And as the head of the city, the lead city worker in Tamale, I have the responsibility to remove them from danger, to provide them overnight support, and to prepare them for school the next day. If your child is out there in the night, roaming the streets of Tamale, we will remove the child from danger, we will keep the child in a safe place, but we will find out why you have done that. If there's demonstrable evidence that it's child neglect, and I think that you should answer that in court.
You heard the Tamale Metropolitan Chief Executive Musa Idrisu. Now, the Health Minister, Kweku Agyemang-Manu, has hinted of a quick resolution to the ongoing laboratory scientist and technician strike very soon. According to him, he held a series of very positive meetings with the leadership of the group last night and is hopeful that they will return to work soon. The lab technicians have been on strike since Monday. Speaking to the press in Parliament, Mr. Agyemang-Manu said their issues will be resolved soon.
We had a very long meeting yesterday. In the middle of the night, we were preparing an MOU that will end the strike and that will give us a roadmap towards which we will settle some of the issues that they raised. By now, they should be sitting in my office because we said we'll continue this morning, 10 o'clock, not engaging in discussions any longer, but just to make sure that the MOU that we did last night can be signed by the two sides so that they can get back to work. That is all I can tell you now. I don't want us to preempt what arrangements we had. And I believe after signing the MOU, things will end. We had a good engagement yesterday. Last year, I had several meetings with the executives. Several meetings. We once even went to the Wages and Salaries and Wages Commission, where they were demanding a professorate report. I even submitted that to them. It wasn't signed. They said we should go and find the chair of that committee to sign. He was away on sabbatical or on pension, away outside Ghana. We couldn't get it signed. So is that neglect?
That was the Health Minister, Kweku Agyemang-Manu.
Let me speak to Michael Amo Omari, who is the General Secretary of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists. We understand you've been meeting with the minister, sir. Is there any positive conclusion from your side?
Thank you and good evening to your listeners. Yes, it's true we have been meeting with the minister. We had a marathon of meeting yesterday. We agreed on some issues verbally, and we agreed that those issues should be documented for each party to sign. So it came that we have to continue today to discuss the memorandum of understanding that we are going to sign. So we went there. We were there. Unfortunately, the minister had to go to Parliament. So at that time, he wasn't there. We were there with his special assistant. And at the point, we disagree with the issues. So we left there and requested that when the minister comes back, then we will go. So that is the state now. We had a call that minister had been back. We just got there and then we were told that he has gone to Ministry of Information for press conference. So we pray that we make a headway.
All right, and where headway would mean what?
Headway means that at least what we agree on yesterday is that if those things that had been announced, we put a memorandum of understanding and we all assign to it with a roadmap, then we will suspend the strike and then we start the implementation of the memorandum of understanding. So we are praying that the memorandum of understanding will be signed. Then we get back to work.
Okay, but since you couldn't meet the minister today, when do you hope to meet him so that possibly have this memorandum signed and go back to the labs?
Ready. So any moment that if they call back right now, we are still available. We hope that today they will consent, but we will not be chasing them everywhere.
Very well. Thank you very much, Michael Amo Omari, General Secretary of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists. Before we move on to business, the National Democratic Congress NDC is calling for a review of the requirements needed to enable a person register for the National ID card. Per the National Identification Amendment Law 2017 Act 950, Ghanaians can only register for the card with their passports or birth certificates. But the NDC fears a lot of Ghanaians would be left unregistered if the status quo remains. In a statement released after a meeting with the National Identification Authority (NIA), the party urged the authority to consider accepting voters' ID as part of the requirements. Kofi Adams is national organizer of the NDC.
The Supreme Court of this land have already interpreted that the card issued by the Electoral Commission are valid cards for determination of a citizenship. And so they directed the deletion of persons who acquire these cards using NHIS cards. And that has since been done. Meaning that anybody holding a voter ID card is holding that card just as if it's a citizen of this country. And this card is acquired for free.
But then again, the Electoral Commission ID cards only cover people 18 years and above, so that will also not cover every Ghanaian.
It is a known fact that people below 18, quite a number acquire birth certificates these days at birth or not long after birth. So majority of below 18 will have at least birth certificates, majority. So all we are trying to do is to reduce the difficulty. If you can reduce difficulty for the 18 years and above, why not go for it? Why make it too difficult for even people 18 years and above?
That's national organizer of the National Democratic Congress, Kofi Adams. And remaining on that particular issue, the National Identification Authority, an international professional association focused on IT governance, ISACA, has proposed that the National Identification Authority shift its focus from the issuance of ID cards to the acquisition of data on all Ghanaians. The president of ISACA, Carl Saki, in an interview with Bernard Avle on the Citi Breakfast Show today, said the establishment of a strong database would enable each government agency properly identify every living Ghanaian in order to properly issue identification cards such as passports and driver's licenses.
National ID is a continuous project. I think, from a governance perspective, that national ID is supposed to start, do the initial thing, do the data capture for the 20, how many million people that we have. But then we're also supposed to equip better bets, because that's where new people come through into the country. So a new child is born, you capture the information at the better bet, and the person has a national ID right from that period. I think that the card is the last thing that we should focus on. I think that the key thing is the data. Data is what drives the world. And so the focus should rather be on getting the data. If you have the data, you get a card. But then that card is not the panacea for all other cards. It's your identification that we're interested in. And so if you capture Kawasaki's information, Kawasaki can go to DVLA, and DVLA will still have to give you a driver's license. But that information is dependent on the source information, which is coming from national ID. DVLA doesn't have to say that because you have a national ID, you automatically become a driver.
You heard Kawasaki. He's the president of ISACA, an international professional association focused on IT governance. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Umaru Sandamadu is a name, and I'm here with Eugenia Tinkran. When we come back, Pius Emihe Duku will bring us the latest in the world of business. And on Point Blank tonight, my guest is Peter McMenu, once chairman of the New Patriotic Party, currently the board chair of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. He is at loggerheads with workers or worker union of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Stay with us.
Detailed news.
And there are times listeners can send us a message and that becomes the whole show. So a couple of days ago, somebody complained about the East Legon tunnel, and that became like the whole program. The idea is that the people listening to you must be giving value. So you must not think of your own comfort. You must work fast. And keep people wanting more. There's music as well, and there's some hard-hitting interviews. Radio